Y'all want to make some old-fashioned fudge? Now, when I say old-fashioned fudge, I don't mean marshmallow fudge. I don't mean the kind of fudge you get from the mall or one of those little general stores that's that light brown kind of thick, mushy, marshmallowy, soft fudge. I mean the back of the Hershey's can, stirred at the stove for an hour, sugary, glossy, dark, old-fashioned fudge. This is one of my favorite recipes to make. It always makes me think about my daddy. I wasn't raised with my daddy, and I didn't have a relationship with him until I was an adult. But his mama, my sweet grandma, raised us when we were little, and she taught me how to make this fudge. And I've been making it since I was so little I had to push a chair up to the stove to stir it. And my daddy loved it. He loved it because he loved his mama so much, and she made it for him. And then when I became an adult, I made it for him. And since we didn't have a relationship, you know how a little girl always wants their approval of their daddy. And when I would make it for him as I became an adult, he never acted like, oh, yay, you made me fudge. He acted like it changed his life to get this fudge. And that always made my heart so happy. So I wanted to share it with y'all. Now listen, this is not for the faint at heart. I've taken this fudge everywhere for years and years and years. And I have never, I'm not trying to brag here. Listen, I have never not been asked for the recipe for this fudge. People love this fudge. And when people ask me for it, I stress a little bit because the recipe's not hard. It's 7 ingredients, but you have to know when it's done. That's it. If you cook it a little bit too long, it turns into sugar. If you cook it a little bit too little, it's taffy. You just got to know when it's done. Now, I've seen people over the years that used to make it or that make it now that say you take a clear glass of tap water, and when you think you might be close to getting done, you put a little drop in there, and if it turns into a soft ball and doesn't change the color of the water, it's done. I tried that. I can't do it. Or the back of the Hershey's can actually gave you this. It's not on there anymore. This is a long time ago. Listen, but the back of the Hershey's can use the candy thermometer, and it would tell you what temperature to take it out. I tried that. I can't do it. I've been doing it since I was a little bitty girl, and I just know what it looks like when it's done, and I'm going to try to show y'all. Because when people have asked me for the recipe, I'll give them the recipe, but I can't go home with them and show them what it looks like when it's done. But now, because I'm gonna make a TikTok about it, I can say, go look at my TikTok and it'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Like I said, it's one of the most delicious things you're ever gonna eat. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can do this, and you'll be glad you did once you get it right because it is so good. So let's get started. First of all, do not judge my fudge pot. It has been with me for years and years, and it has seen better days. I don't cook anything in it but my fudge, and so I'm going to bring it over here in front of y'all, but I don't want y'all to judge me, okay? It used to be black. It's still black on the inside. Look at that. I'm sure that used to be coated. I'm sure we've eaten that. Me and my family have eaten whatever came off of that pot. But this is my fudge pot, and I don't use anything else. And this is my fudge spoon. It must be this spoon. And at the end, I get to eat the fudge off this spoon. Since I was a little girl, I've always been the one to get the spoon. Listen, I've given my children everything. They got everything they ever wanted, but they did not get my fudge spoon when I made the fudge. Listen, I do make this rule. This is my rule. Okay, so we're going to start with 6 cups of sugar. The back of the Hershey's can was called for 3 cups, but I've always doubled this recipe. All right, then you're going to use 3/4 of a cup of Hershey's cocoa. All right, then I always stir the powder because sometimes once you put the wet in there, the liquid in there, sometimes it would make the chocolate would knot up. So you want to get the knots out of it, the lumps out of it, or whatever you call it, and get it mixed up it's going to look like sort of like Nestle Quick. Okay, it looks like that, kind of like Hershey's chocolate. All right, then you're going to do 2 cans of Carnation evaporated milk. Now you can use pet milk, whatever you want to do, but I use Carnation. You stir that up. Make sure you don't have any lumps. Make sure you have all that incorporated. It looks like that. All right, and I'm going to cook this on this little portable stove top because I don't have any room over there at my stove to actually do this, and I've never used this before, so it's going to be trial and error for me too. But when you're cooking it on your stove, you're going to put it on. It's going to be on a medium low. If you have numbers on there 1 through 10, I usually put it on a little bit between the 5 and the 6. I don't know if that helps you. I'm just trying to tell you everything I can for you to get this right because you will love it. Anyway, low and slow. So I will let you know when I get done how long this took, because it's usually about 45 minutes of stirring. And it's going to do, I always tell people it goes through, listen, I'm not a chef. I'm not even a cook. I just know how to cook what I cook. And I tell people this goes through 2 stages of boil. That's why I use this tall pot, because the first stage is going to be real bubbly and fluffy and frothy and come all the way almost up to the top. I'll show you. And then the second stage later on, it'll be a low rolling, shiny, dark brown boil at the bottom. And you're going to want to stir this pretty much the whole time. You just want to be really careful that it doesn't burn on the bottom. I mean, I'm not saying you can't walk away from it for a minute, but you're going to want to stir this pretty much the whole time. You got to stay in at the stove. All right, I'm going to show y'all the first stage that I was talking about. Can y'all see that? How it's come up really tall. It's almost halfway up the pan or a little bit. And it's a light brown and it's puffy looking. The steam's going to keep y'all from seeing it, but you see it's kind of puffy. Now the next stage is going to look different from that. So hold on. Okay, so now look, when I'm stirring this, you see if I drag this spoon across the bottom, it's not making any kind of valley or anything. It's just, you can't see the bottom of the pan. When it's done, when it's ready to be coming off this heat, when I drag this spoon across the bottom of this pan, I'm going to be able to see the bottom of the pan. So I'll show you. See how dark it's gotten? And when I pull this across the bottom, I can see the bottom of the pan. It's making a valley. It's done. It's got to come off the heat. All right, here's where you work fast. You're going to put in a little over a cup. We like a lot of pecans. All right, 2 sticks of butter. You got to go fast because you don't want it to harden up in the pan. Oops. And then about a tablespoon of pure vanilla. Don't use imitation vanilla. Okay, stir fast. And then you're going to pour it out on a 13 by 17 cookie sheet. And I'll show it to you when I get it cut up. This is it just poured up. I told you I'd show it to you when I got it cut up, but this is it just poured up. Now it's got to sit here for 30 minutes and kind of set and get, and harden up. And then I'll cut it and show you. Showing you real quick how I cut it up. I cut it up in about 1-inch squares. Just a minute and I'll show it to you when it's all cut up. And there it is. See what I'm talking about? How it's shiny. You see how the light hits it? It's shiny. It's thin. And it is to die for. Listen, y'all can do this. Y'all can do this. And if you ever do, you will be so happy because it is one of the best candies you will ever put in your mouth. To me, it's not chocolate. To me, this is fudge. You're going to love it. So, y'all do it. And I'll be just over here eating my spoon.